morning. Nope. Good afternoon. Saturday afternoon. It's about 1:45 in the afternoon. It's cold in here. I haven't been doing any work in a few days. That one warm day we had, where we had a lot of rain and then it got colder, I did work on this radio here. I already made part one, but what I want to do is to make all the parts, finish the radio, and then upload it. That way, if something happens and I don't succeed in it, you'll never see it. This appears to be somewhat easier to work on, and I'll show you, than the other radio. The 56B1 was very difficult. I could not trace out the electrolytic because it's printed circuit boards, and that particular radio was very, very difficult to do anything with. So what's holding me up right now, besides the cold weather, so I want to get this video out to you to give you kind of an update on what things are happening here, is money. Basically, I just can't order anything right now. I just don't have the cash. I have to order a bunch of capacitors because I do have a fairly good stock, but on the 160 volt electrolytics for this radio here, I don't have them. I have like 250, 450 volt caps. I have a few of those, but they're physically way too large to go in here. And this particular radio uses, and here's my glasses here. It uses this is the 5A7A Motorola that we're talking about now, which is, as I said, I made part one already. It uses a 40 microfarad for the input filter condenser, a 15 microfarad, and a 20. Well, you can't get a 15, you either can get a 10 or a 22. So I'll put a 22 in there, and for the 20 I'll put the other 22 in. That's what it uses on this radio. However, I'm going to show you on here, and this is kind of a spoiler because I got the chassis apart. I don't know if this is in camera or not. No big deal. I'm going to bring you down to the bench anyways, shortly. Off the selenium rectifier, and you'll see that, is a 150 ohm 5 watt, in this case, sand resistor. It, for some reason, dropped to 65 ohms. And I'm sure it's not because of the selenium rectifier, because you will see that when I bring you down here. So I have to order, and I can't now, as I said, I have to order a 150 ohm 5 watt resistor, which Sal's don't carry. I got to put an order into Sal's capacitor corner, but I can't do it now. If I do it now, I'm only going to be able to get part of the order that I need. I just don't have the money right now to do that, so it's going to take a while, but it's too cold anyway, so, you know. So here, let me take you over to the radio and the schematic. And I'm going to have to hand hold this. Let me Let's see if I can maybe. Oh, there we go. I'll get you down here. Is that you're gonna mind the ride down to here? Is it gonna bother you? You're gonna get motion sickness when I take you down from the top of the Norelco radio and bring you down to the bench? Are you gonna be okay with that, or are you gonna get nauseating and puke up on me and puke my shop up? Huh? I hope not. I'm not in the mood to clean up puke. I'll take you right down there right now. I told you it's a little bit of a well, I guess you survived it. I didn't hear anybody throw up. Okay, so here's what we got. We got I think that's good enough. We got a selenium rectifier right here. So when the radio's unplugged, and it makes no difference whether it's on or off, you got a 150 ohm resistor right here, and it reads 65.7 ohms on my ohm meter. I'm putting an ohm meter lead from here to here. So it wouldn't make any difference whether this rectifier was shorted or not. You got an open circuit at this end if it's not plugged in. So obviously, I've never known a wire resistor that is a wire wound resistor, and I'll show you on the radio very shortly here. I've never known them to go down like that. So I can't do anything until I replace this, because 65 ohms is not okay. Then we've got a 40 microfarad input filter here. Then we've got a 15 microfarad here, and then a 20 over here. So that's your filter capacitors here. So I took an inventory of my capacitors, and I don't have any of those low voltage ones. And there's a very limited amount of room, so 160 volt capacitor is fine. These are rated at 150, but of course that's what they did years ago. So I don't have those voltages, so I got to order that. I got to order 5 watt. I could probably go to my, if the place is still in business, Jan Electronics in New London, and buy one, but they're very, very expensive there. But I got to look. I do have some power resistors in my resistor box, and I will have to look and see if I got that. Now, here, I checked this resistor out. This is, according to the parts list, is your filament dropping resistor. And it reads 1,000.01 ohms. In other words, it's right on. 1,000 here and 1,000 here. So this resistor is good. Surprisingly enough, it is very good. So I don't have to worry about that, because that's a 10 watter. And I'm going to show you on the radio chassis now where that is located. There it is right there, dead ahead of you. The 3-terminal, that's a 10 watt. It's a 2,000 ohm resistor center tapped at 1,000 ohms. It tests good. Perfect. Here is the sand resistor. Got to get you over into camera here. Let me get the radio a little closer. I'm trying to do it as steady as I can here. There we are right there. You'll notice some corrosion right here, but it doesn't seem to affect it. I put the clip leads in there and moved it around and dug the clip leads in, and it reads 65.7 ohms to be exact. So that has to be changed. And if you look over here, I just touched the speaker. I'll be knocking a hole in that yet. 1,500 ohms. That's what it's supposed to be. So I can't do nothing until I replace that resistor. So as you can see, I haven't started doing any recapping yet. And in part 1, which is not up there, so this is a kind of a spoiler because I've already started working on it, but I haven't replaced anything. All I'm doing is checking components out. Is some wax caps way down in there on the left-hand side. I don't know, as I mentioned in part 1, but you haven't seen that yet. I don't know how the speaker's held in there, but I would have to get it out. Anyways, so this is going to end this video now because I've already showed disassembly on this radio on part 1. I feel it better to make all the videos, and I've thought about doing this on all my videos, make all the parts, part 1, part 2, however number of parts is needed, get them all done successfully, restore the radio, at least get it going, and then put these parts on YouTube, maybe part 1, and then a few days later, part 2, and so forth, until they're all up there. So, I think that's better in my case because there's a lot of times I just can't finish the radio, as you well know. I am fairly confident I can do it as I showed in part 1, and I'm spoiling things now by doing this, but the speaker's gone. I don't know what holds it in, but in order to get in here to get at those other caps that are buried way down here, where my finger's pointing, the speaker's going to have to come out, and the battery, the D-cell battery holders have to come out, and there is 2/4-inch screws over here that is probably holding that in, so that'll enable me to get in there and replace the line cord also, which you can see hanging out of there. All right, enough spoiler here. I want you to know that at this time I can't do nothing. I'm dead in the water because I just can't order the parts right now. So it's going to be a while. I don't know how long, but I'm estimating the parts are going to cost me, with the electrolytics and everything, well over $40, not counting the shipping. So I just don't have it right now. So please be patient. I will get to it. Remember, it's cold and brutal in here. I don't have a nice warm workshop like most of you have. So I have to work when I can. And that is, the weather is holding me up from doing anything. If it was warm in here, I would be replacing the wax caps that I could get at, and so forth. There is a video on YouTube of a guy that disassembled this radio and was able to get at or everything, and he was doing a repair that somebody else butchered up. I think it's Radio Resistor, I'm not sure. So it's a few years old. But I watched that a couple of times, and it gave me some ideas on how to do that. Also, we got to order a 3S4 because a 3S4 is not burned out It has very high grid emission and zero emission. In other words, the meter sits at 0. So the 3S4 audio output tube is no good. So I have to also order one of those. Now I have 2 of these radios. This is the one that has the very poor front plate on it, but has a nice cover. So I figured I'd start on this one, because if I messed it up, well, that wouldn't be good, but that's why I got 2 of them. And I want to try to get both of them working. All right, so that is kind of a spoiler, but it's showing you that I am working on it whenever I can. The weather is against me. Money's against me, so what can I tell you? I do the best I can, folks. And that's all anyone can expect, I guess. Thanks for watching. I'll be back on a video to a computer near you real soon. Take care.